Know your place, Vanessa Laurent whispered with a smile sharp enough to cut glass. The words landed softly, almost politely, but everyone at the charity gala heard them. Including the waitress. The crystal champagne flute in the waitress's hand trembled for half a second before becoming perfectly still again. She lowered her eyes, nodded once, and stepped back like she had spent her whole life swallowing humiliation. That should have been the end of it. At least, that's what Vanessa believed. The ballroom inside the Blackwood Grand Hotel glowed beneath chandeliers worth more than most people's homes. New York's elite filled the room in designer gowns and custom tuxedos while cameras flashed near the entrance. Billionaires, politicians, athletes, and celebrities moved through the crowd with rehearsed laughter and fake smiles. Tonight's event was supposed to be the social event of the year. But no one knew that before the night ended, the woman serving drinks would quietly destroy one of the most powerful families in Manhattan. At the center of the ballroom stood Ethan Carlisle, 34 years old, self-made billionaire, CEO of Carlisle Technologies. Cold, brilliant, untouchable. The media called him the Wolf of Wall Street's new king, though Ethan hated the nickname. He rarely attended public events unless business forced him to, which made tonight strange, because Ethan Carlisle had arrived with Vanessa Laurent. The Vanessa Laurent, daughter of hotel tycoon Richard Laurent, social media queen, fashion icon, the woman every gossip magazine was convinced Ethan would eventually marry. Vanessa loved attention almost as much as she loved power. And tonight, she was glowing beneath it. Every camera followed her, every conversation stopped when she walked by. Every woman in the room secretly envied her. Vanessa noticed the waitress again near the champagne tower. Simple black uniform, hair tied neatly, no makeup except light mascara. Pretty, but forgettable, or at least she should have been forgettable. Vanessa narrowed her eyes, because Ethan had looked at the waitress twice. Noticed her. That irritated Vanessa more than it should have. She crossed the room slowly and took another glass from the tray. "You're standing too close to the guests," Vanessa said quietly. "I apologize, ma'am." The waitress stepped back immediately. Vanessa leaned closer. "Girls like you always mistake kindness for opportunity." The waitress stayed silent. Vanessa smiled. "Know your place." A nearby couple exchanged uncomfortable looks. The waitress simply nodded. "Yes, ma'am." Then she walked away. Vanessa felt victorious for exactly 4 minutes. Until Ethan suddenly asked, "Who was that?" Vanessa blinked. "A waitress." Ethan's eyes stayed fixed across the ballroom. "No," he said slowly. "I know her from somewhere." Vanessa laughed lightly. "I highly doubt that." But Ethan wasn't listening anymore. Across the room, the waitress disappeared through a side hallway marked staff only. And Ethan followed her. Vanessa's smile instantly faded. She excused herself and moved after him. The hallway behind the ballroom was quieter, colder, stripped of luxury. Staff members rushed around carrying trays and equipment. Vanessa turned the corner just in time to see Ethan speaking to the waitress. Except the conversation didn't look flirtatious. It looked serious. "You disappeared," Ethan said. The waitress gave a small shrug. "So did you." Vanessa froze. They knew each other. Ethan lowered his voice. "I searched for you for 2 years." The waitress looked away. That was a mistake. Vanessa stepped forward instantly. "Ethan." Both of them turned. For the first time all night, the waitress looked directly into Vanessa's eyes. And suddenly Vanessa felt something she hadn't expected. Unease. Not fear. Not yet. But something close. Ethan looked irritated. "Vanessa, give us a minute." Her jaw tightened. "I'm sorry. You heard me." Vanessa had never been dismissed publicly before. Especially not for a waitress. The hallway became painfully quiet. The waitress finally spoke. "It's okay. I was leaving anyway." She walked past Vanessa without another word. But before she disappeared down the corridor, Ethan called after her. "Lena." She stopped. "Dinner tomorrow." Vanessa stared at him. The waitress hesitated, then nodded once, and left. Vanessa laughed in disbelief. "You're joking." Ethan looked calm. "No, that woman is serving drinks at a hotel. And," Vanessa crossed her arms, "you can't seriously be interested in her." Ethan's expression darkened slightly. "You should be careful how you talk about people." Vanessa felt heat rise into her face. "Excuse me, you heard me." The same words he had used on her seconds earlier. Vanessa forced a smile, but inside, anger exploded. She spent the rest of the gala pretending everything was normal while Ethan barely spoke to her. By midnight, the internet was already flooded with photos of them. But Ethan wasn't looking at social media. He was staring at a name written on an old photograph inside his penthouse. Lena Monroe, the girl who once saved his life. 10 years earlier, Ethan Carlisle wasn't a billionaire. He was a broke software engineer sleeping inside his car. One freezing night in Chicago, after getting fired from his third startup, Ethan had collapsed outside a 24-hour diner from exhaustion. Everyone ignored him, except one waitress, Lena. She brought him coffee, food, a blanket, and when she learned he had nowhere to go, she secretly let him sleep in the diner storage room for almost 2 weeks. She never asked for money, never wanted anything, she simply helped him because she could. At the time, Ethan had promised himself that if he ever became successful, he would repay her. But one morning she vanished. No goodbye, no explanation. Now, after 10 years, she had suddenly appeared again, working as a waitress, and hiding something. The next evening, Ethan arrived at a private restaurant overlooking Central Park. Lena was already there. Simple dark blue dress, no expensive jewelry, no designer labels, yet somehow she looked more elegant than every woman Ethan had seen at the gala. "You're late," she said. Ethan smirked slightly. "You used to charge me extra for that." For the first time, she smiled. And Ethan realized he had missed that smile for a decade. Dinner started awkwardly, then slowly became easier. They talked about Chicago, the diner, the old days. But every time Ethan asked about her life now, Lena changed the subject. That bothered him. "You're hiding something," he finally said. Lena's smile faded. "You always were too observant." Before Ethan could respond, a voice interrupted them. "Well, this is embarrassing." Vanessa, standing beside their table, and she wasn't alone. 3 photographers stood behind her. Lena immediately understood. Vanessa wanted public humiliation. Ethan rose from his chair. "What are you doing?" Vanessa gave a fake laugh. "I was worried about you." The cameras flashed repeatedly. Vanessa looked at Lena. "You move fast for a waitress." The restaurant fell silent. People nearby turned to watch. Lena slowly placed her napkin on the table. Then she stood, calm, controlled, dangerously calm. "You should leave," Ethan warned Vanessa. But Vanessa ignored him. "You know," she continued loudly, "there's a reason people like us don't date staff." Lena tilted her head slightly. "People like us," Vanessa smiled. "Wealthy people." Another camera flash. Vanessa loved every second. Then Lena reached into her purse and placed a black card onto the table. Not a credit card, a hotel executive access card. Vanessa's smile disappeared instantly, because the logo on the card belonged to Laurent International, her family company, and beneath the logo were 4 words. Board of Majority Owners. Vanessa stared at it. "No." Lena looked directly at her. "Yes." Ethan's eyes narrowed. Even he looked surprised. Lena folded her hands calmly. "My full name is Elena Monroe Laurent." Vanessa went pale. "Impossible. Richard Laurent only had one daughter. Her. At least that's what everyone believed." Lena's voice remained steady. 10 years ago, your father had an affair." Vanessa's breathing changed. "My mother worked for him before she died." The restaurant became completely silent. Even the photographers stopped shooting. Lena continued. 3 months ago, Richard Laurent contacted me privately after suffering a heart attack." Vanessa whispered, "You're lying." He admitted everything. Lena slid another document across the table. Legal papers, signatures, ownership transfers. Vanessa grabbed them with shaking hands. "No, no, this can't." Ethan looked at the documents carefully and realized Lena wasn't lying. Richard Laurent had secretly transferred 51% of Laurent International to Lena before his surgery. Control of the empire. Vanessa's empire. Gone. Just like that. Vanessa looked up slowly. "You planned this." Lena's expression hardened for the first time. "No." Her voice became colder. "But I won't apologize for surviving people like you." Vanessa's eyes filled with rage. "You think money makes you equal to me?" Lena leaned closer. "No. Character does." That line hit harder than a slap. Vanessa snapped. "You little." "Enough." Ethan's voice cut through the restaurant. Sharp. Final. Vanessa looked at him in disbelief. You're defending her. Ethan didn't hesitate. Yes. That single word shattered something inside Vanessa. She turned and stormed out while cameras followed her. Within an hour, the story exploded online. Secret heiress. Hidden daughter. $1 billion inheritance scandal. Vanessa Laurent humiliated in public. The internet went insane. But the biggest twist came the next morning. Because Richard Laurent himself held a press conference. And confirmed everything. News channels replayed it non-stop. I failed Elena for many years, Richard admitted publicly. But she is my daughter. And she deserves what belongs to her. Vanessa watched the broadcast from her penthouse in horror. Her phone wouldn't stop ringing. Sponsors were pulling away. Investors were panicking. Even worse, her father refused to answer her calls. For the first time in her life, Vanessa realized something terrifying. Power could disappear overnight. Meanwhile, outside Manhattan, Lena sat quietly on a rooftop terrace with Ethan. You could have destroyed them months ago, Ethan said. Lena sipped her coffee. I didn't want revenge. Then why come back? She looked at the skyline. My mother spent her entire life being treated like she was invisible. I wanted to prove she mattered. Ethan studied her carefully. And the waitress job. A small smile appeared. I wanted to see who people really were before they knew my name. Ethan laughed softly. That's dangerous in Manhattan. It was educational. Then her expression changed. You know what the funny part is? What? The people with the least money treated me with the most respect. Ethan had no response to that, because she was right. Days passed. Then weeks. The scandal only grew larger. Vanessa tried fighting back publicly, but every interview made things worse. People began exposing stories about her behavior. Former employees, assistants, hotel staff, even ex-friends. The internet turned against her completely. Meanwhile, Lena became strangely admired online. Not because of the money. Because of the story. The waitress no one respected becoming the most powerful woman in the room. People loved it, but Lena avoided interviews, avoided attention, avoided fame. That only made the public more fascinated. 1 month later, Ethan invited Lena to another gala. This time hosted by Carlyle Technologies. She almost said no, until Ethan smiled. You survived the Lawrence. You can survive one party. She rolled her eyes. Barely. When they arrived, the ballroom froze. Every head turned. Not because of Ethan. Because of Lena. And unlike last time, she didn't arrive wearing a waitress uniform. She wore a silver gown so elegant the room fell silent. No flashy diamonds. No dramatic entrance. Yet somehow she owned the room instantly. Ethan noticed people staring. You nervous? He asked. Lena looked around calmly. No. Why not? A faint smile touched her lips. Because now I know my place. Ethan smirked. And where's that? Lena took his arm. At the table. Not serving it. But the night still had one final twist waiting. Halfway through the gala, Ethan stepped onto the stage unexpectedly. The room quieted. Most of you know me as a businessman, he began. But tonight, I want to talk about debt. The audience looked confused. Ethan's gaze found Lena immediately. 10 years ago, I was broke. Homeless. Invisible. Whispers spread through the ballroom. A woman helped me when nobody else would. She gave me food when I couldn't afford dinner. She gave me hope when I had none left. Lena's eyes widened slightly, and everything I built afterward happened because one person chose kindness instead of judgment. The ballroom became completely silent. Ethan stepped down from the stage. Then, in front of New York's elite, he got down on one knee. Gasps exploded across the room. Lena looked genuinely shocked for the first time. Ethan pulled out a ring. Not enormous, not flashy, elegant, meaningful. I spent years searching for you, he said quietly. I don't want to lose you again. The entire ballroom waited. Cameras flashed everywhere, but Lena barely noticed any of it. Because suddenly she remembered a freezing night in Chicago. A broke man too proud to ask for help. A tired waitress sharing her last cup of coffee. Neither of them knowing their lives were about to change forever. Lena smiled slowly, then nodded. Yes. The ballroom erupted into applause. But far across the city, Vanessa watched the proposal alone from her apartment television. And for the first time in her life, no one was watching her anymore. If this story touched your heart, Don't forget to like, subscribe, and become part of Whispered Love. Because here, every story has a secret, and every silence hides a feeling. See you in the next story.
Hey there. Subscribe to my channel. And also press this bell icon.